Hello everyone, my name is Striker Tossa from Stronghold Central, and now I want to talk about a pretty forgotten sword in the Destiny 2 community, and that is Heartshadow. I spent about 8 hours yesterday just grinding Duality over on Twitch, link in the description for that, to get this sword, and honestly, it's performing a lot better than I thought it would. So, Heartshadow, if you don't know what it does, on the heavy attack, it shoots out 4 orbs that on hit, you weaken to the opponent. They also get a 30% increased damage to red bars, which is very, very fun. Now, that is 1.3 damage to our boy Wrathel here, which honestly, that's not bad at all. Straight up, that's not bad. I tested like Redirection Abyssal Edge, I tested Lament. Lament only got to like 1 million damage, so I am pretty bad with the Lament, so I don't know if that's just me messing it up. But according to Aegis' boss damage spreadsheet, Heartshadow actually does more damage than Lament now, after, you know, the just myriad of nerfs that Lament just keeps getting for some reason. I really don't get why they keep nerfing my boy, but that's fine. So, Heartshadow, I think, you know, in my opinion, is the second best exotic sword in the game, at least for actual damage numbers, because Weaken is really strong. Being able to put that on other subclasses is awesome. So, for example, Strain with Banner of War. Now I also have, on top of my 10% damage boost from, you know, Banner of War, I now have a 15% damage boost as well, which genuinely is really strong. Actually, that's why I'm not running this on Void, by the way, because I already have 2 Void keywords. I've got Invisibility and I have Weaken, so why would I run, you know, my Void Grenades Weaken targets when I can just fucking heavy attack with the sword? But yeah, let me know what y'all think about Heartshadow down in the comments below. I really do like this sword. I'll show off the build breakdown at the end and talk more about my opinion on Heartshadow, how they can improve it. But I genuinely think the sword's a lot better than people give it credit for, especially because there is a tech with it. So this happened, I believe this was Crota boss DPS rotation for a while there, where you could take Tractor Cannon, you could shoot it, and Tractor Cannon, by the way, does 30% weaken, not 15%. But because Heartshadow is like one of the only things in the game that adds weaken on hit, you can extend the weaken from Tractor Cannon indefinitely. As long as you have sword ammo, you can extend the weaken, which is fantastic. So you can have this 30% weaken from Tractor Cannon, and you can just keep it forever on the boss, like for the entire damage rotation, which is just ridiculous in my eyes. I think that is genuinely fantastic. So, something I wanted to say about the sword, by the way, you do need to, like, space yourself properly against champions, because those orbs that you saw, like, the left one there, kind of just left and didn't really hit them, unfortunately. So you kind of have to watch out for that. You have to, like, space yourself properly. You have to make damn sure that you don't miss your hits. You see, I kind of messed up there, not swapping to my pistol correctly, but look. We now do the Heartshadow combo, boom, he's dead. And that's, you know, 3 champions defeated relatively easily with Heartshadow. I think this, especially compared to like Worldline Zero and Black Talon swords that I have tried to make videos on and failed because they're just that ass, I feel like Heartshadow does not get the credit it deserves. I mean, look at this. See, this wyvern jumps in my face, I heavy attack, I run around a bit, I heavy attack again, it's dead. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Like, Heartshadow kind of goes hard, guys. I'll be real. Heartshadow's kind of sick. And I was trying out the Redirection Abyssal Edge on Wrathel as well, the boss from Warlord's Ruin, the one I showed at the beginning of this video. And I was able to get slightly higher than Heartshadow's DPS on Abyssal Edge with Redirection, which I think is the best sword in the game currently. I think Redirection Abyssal Edge is crazy, especially for short damage phases like Wrathel. At least Wrathel when you're doing it solo anyway, because you can get like double the time. Oh, by the way, here's another thing you can do. So I was able to get Weaken on my Strain Super, which is something you can really only do with like Prismatics. Now I get Banner of War and Weaken for 6 seconds on my Strain Super. Look how much damage that Strain Super did. That is 1 Strain Super. And it did that much damage to the boss. Well, and 1 heavy attack. But you know what I mean. I think it's just genuinely fantastic. This sword is awesome, and I'm going to be using it a lot more, I think. Oh, this is one of my favorite parts of this whole Lost Sector. Look at this. Boom. Now, unfortunately, I don't kill both of them here because, you know, one's regen kicks in, but man, that's fun. Also, I still have Unstop on my glaive like a damn fool, so I can't stun this Overload as well because of just how that works. If you have Unstop on a weapon that already stuns another champion type, it'll take 2 hits instead of just 1 to actually stun them, which is very odd. But I think it's just the game being like, you can't stun 2, like, this is an Unstop shot. This isn't an Overload shot, which kind of makes sense, but eh. They're going to toss that Woven Mail up there, and then I'm going to go for the block, hit the heavy attack, wait for a little bit, hit the heavy attack again with the 25% damage boost that the sword gets while you're invisible, and for a short amount of time afterwards as well. Gonna just beat him down with the glaive now, because I can. Boom. And he's gone. Yeah, I'm gonna talk more about Heartshadow in the build breakdown, but as you just saw with that Master Lost Sector, I made that thing look easy. This is not a, you know, a super easy Lost Sector, and I made it look pretty effortless. I think Heartshadow is a lot better than people give it credit for. So I will see you in the build breakdown in just a moment. Yes, I did shave. Thank you for noticing. Now, let's talk about Heartshadow. So, this sword, the heavy attacks made with full sword energy turn you invisible and fire exploding void projectiles. You also get shot in the dark, which is a 25% bonus to damage. The data compendium right here talks about, get rid of that tab, there we go. So, grant shot in the dark after being invisible for 0.25 seconds and for 2.5 seconds after invisibility ends. Shot in the dark grants 25% increased damage. Hits while shot in the dark is active, weaken for 6 or 3 seconds in PvP, but we don't care about PvP, so whatever. Grants void invisibility for 6.3 seconds when you use the heavy attack. With a fan of 4 tracking orbs up to whatever meters forward, each dealing 507 damage on detonation. 507 is actually a lot of damage, by the way. For example, I believe Consecration, if we go here, this is in the description, by the way. This is an incredibly good spreadsheet. I look at it constantly. But if we look at Consecration, just give you an idea. So this is with the both waves of Consecration only deal about 486 to 472 damage. So if we go back to Heartshadow, you're basically shooting out 4 Consecration waves per heavy attack. Even better, actually. So they give you a relative idea of what the damage looks like here. Then also Wraith Walk, which I recommend you grab because the sword's biggest issue is ammo. More on that later. Pestle against 6 reserves, 50 to 56, and 50% increased movement speed while shot in the dark is active. Not really that important, but it's still nice to go faster. You know, we like going fast. So Heartshadow, you get that plus 25% damage bonus, and how you keep it up best is with double Loosened Blades. Actually, with 0 Loosened Blades, you don't really need it to keep up the actual shot in the dark buff. So check the bottom left corner of my screen real quick. I'm gonna do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it again. You see I have shot in the dark at all times. It doesn't really go away. But if you want to maximize the damage of this thing, I recommend running 2 Loosened Blades. With just 1, you can do 3 heavies or 3 lights. There you go. I messed it up at the beginning there, unfortunately. They can do 3 lights with just 2 Loosened Blades. So if you're doing a DPS phase, especially with Stronghold, because you don't have to worry about resist that much, you can then do just 2 attacks. So you can keep 1 slot open for possibly a reserves, because this sword, as you saw, only has 56 ammo capacity, which, to give you an idea of why that's bad, Abyssal Edge is 58 and Lament has 58. So this thing gets 2 less with the catalyst that already boosts it, which is kind of sad because the heavy attack costs 4 ammo and you want to spam that bitch as much as possible. With swords like Abyssal Edge, you don't really have to use the heavy attack too often. It's still good to do that, but you don't really need to, especially with redirection. And with Lament, you know, you're doing the 3 light, 1 heavy combo, so you're not really spending... Actually, how much does Lament even cost for heavy attack? It costs 2. So, for Heartshadow, like, you can look at the bottom left corner here. You can see just how fast my ammo melts away doing this 2-hit combo. I mean, like, look at that. My ammo, like, it just gave me 52, but, like, my ammo just disappears so gosh darn quickly. So how I would buff this sword if Bungie is looking at making Heartshadow even better than it already is, which I already think it's underrated, I would make it 3 instead of 4, because good lord. Like, because then you could also use that on-demand weaken more. You can use that invisibility more. It just would give you the opportunity to use this sword more often instead of worrying about your ammo economy. But thankfully, just running 2 Loosened Blades, you can do that heavy attack combo, meaning you can run Avoid Reserves to kind of patch this up a little bit better. I didn't do that in the Lost Sector. In the Lost Sector, I was running, let's see, it was Indebted Kindness, it was Rake Angle. So let's talk about the Stronghold build that I used in the Master Lost Sector and the Stronghold build that I actually recommend for general Heartshadow use. I'm just going to go over the Lost Sector build really quickly so far. So we got Rake Angle with Choke Clip for the overloads. We have Indebted Kindness with Volt Shot for overloads and barriers. Then we have Heartshadow, the star of the show, for that Master Lost Sector, then here are my armor mods. Big fan of matching your Stronghold sword to your dexterity mod. This is very important because if you get caught with your pants down without that 90% DR, because you don't know dexterity, allows you to swap to your Stronghold sword faster, which means you can really, really quickly guard and get that 90% damage distance whenever you want, which is very, very important. So you want dexterity on your arms. It's very, very important, especially because you don't really use your melee that often anyway. And like, what are you going to use? Fucking grenade kickstart? You're going to use firepower on suspend grenade? Like, let's be real. Not really a lot to use in the arm slot anyway. So dexterity mod, it's just nice to have. I have definitely had situations where I've been able to guard like a frame before I got hit because of dexterity. So we also have, of course, a scavenger because you kind of need it on Heartshadow. Again, you chew through ammo so gosh darn fast with this sword. I think if this sword got an ammo reduction on its heavy, it would be like on par with the legendary swords in this game. If you don't know, exotic swords are worse than legendary swords in this game, unfortunately, because of Wolfpack rounds on Ergo Sum. If I want to run a like max sword damage build, I would just go to my dim over here and I would grab a Wolfpack rounds Ergo Sum plus something like Summon Bonum, which I don't have yet, but I'm getting this weekend, hopefully, or like Bequest, or like Falling Guillotine with Woe and Blade, something like that. If I want to do the most sword DPS in the game, I would just run Wolfpack round Ergo Sum. But unfortunately, legendary swords don't benefit from Wolfpack rounds, which is very, very sad. The only sword that does is Ergo Sum itself. Just unfortunate. Now, so exotic swords kind of need help because in actual damage rotations, I'm just going to bring Wolfpack rounds. So come on, Bungie, buff up exotic swords. We need a reason to run them. Now, let's talk about an actual, like, what I would run on this sword. So I would run Velocity Baton for, like, surges and just attrition orbs, whatever. I would run the Call with Heavy Ammo Finder Enhancement, or I'd actually run Rake Angle probably with Heavy Ammo Finder Enhancement because I love talking about this in every single one of my videos. A melee kill with a glaive counts as a primary ammo kill, meaning you stack up Heavy Ammo Finder even faster. Meaning with the Heavy Ammo and Finder Enhancement, plus 2 heavy ammo finders and a void scavenger, you're getting even more ammo. And with Spinner Finisher here, plus the orb printer with Velocity Baton. This is my first run of Vespers, by the way. I got this bad boy. All I'm saying, Shimmer looks real, and I have it. So I got Demolitionist Attrition Orbs just for more grenade generation and for more Orbs of Power generation. So we can then get Spectral Finisher, basically giving us infinite ammo on our glaive and our grenade launcher, which is really dang good. You can also run surges instead if you want to. If you can free up this resilience mod slot, you can run triple void surges, meaning your grenade launcher will do 22% more damage, meaning your Shadow Heart will do 22% more damage. Pretty damn good. And then in here, we have our regular Towering Barricade and Catapult Lift. I will never leave home without my Catapult Lift. I absolutely love it. We have Shackle Grenades. You can run Grapple because Grapples are really fun, but I would run Shackle because Shackle's amazing. Then we have Thread of Warding, Thread of Generation, Thread of Continuity, and Thread of Transmutation for more tangles with Into the Fray. And then we have Banner of War. The reason why you run swords on Strand Titan is Banner of War. That 10% sword damage is really dang powerful. Remember, most buffs in this game, if not all of them, are multiplicative. Banner of War, Weaken, Surges, all multiplicative damage boosts. Run Banner of War with swords, please, for the love of God. Now, of course, you do have other subclasses available to you because Stronghold is subclass agnostic, but if you want the most damage out of a Stronghold build, I would run a Strand. Unless you're running Ergo Sum, then Prismatic. Anyway, that's it. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. I want to talk about basically every sword in the game. I want to have a review on every sword that is not Sunset, including the really old ones. For example, I want to talk about Honor's Edge, because Honor's Edge, somebody left a comment. Flash counter can proc Tireless Blade. Now, what's interesting is that only really old swords have flash counter in the 4th slot. So, only stuff like Honor's Edge and Quick Fang even get that role. Meaning Honor's Edge, if flash counter can proc Tireless Blades, I haven't been able to confirm this myself, that means Honor's Edge might have near infinite ammo for mobbing. That sounds pretty cool to me. That sounds pretty fucking cool to me. So I want to talk about basically every sword in the game that is not Sunset. So if that interests you, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Stronghold Central video. Y'all have a good one. Goodbye.